Hey guys, it's me, Allie from Baking a Moment, and today I'm coming at you all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm here with this beautiful Southern lady, an excellent cook. This is Linda Carmen, and she's here today to help us all feel a little bit less nervous about baking with yeast. So tell me, Linda, what are we going to do here today? What are we making?
Well, we're going to make a yeast dough that can be used for lots of different things, so sweet dough.
Yeah.
And I've made a lot of yeast doughs over the years, working in a test kitchen. And so I think that we have made people so nervous about baking all kinds of things that they're traumatized.
I've definitely fallen into that trap. It scares me.
And it's not. And it's not that hard.
Okay.
So we are going to make this sweet dough, and this is just 2 cups of water.
2 cups of water.
Lots of people are afraid of yeast. They're afraid they're going to kill it if they put hot water on it. Well, that's true.
Okay.
But it's not a big deal. I mean, this is not hot, but it's warm.
So it should be warm, but not too hot.
Exactly. Now, we usually let the yeast just rest on the top of the liquid for a few minutes. Now, there are recipes that you put the yeast right in the flour and then add warm liquid later. But I think this is more normal for it to be this way. So yeast is a little plant that eats the sugar in the dough, and it gives off gas that makes the dough rise. It's amazing. It's
so
really
it's just
fun.
bubbles coming out that makes it fluffy and light.
Exactly right. And so we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar and some salt.
Okay.
And this recipe calls for just a chunk of shortening, 1/4 cup of shortening. But I like this better than, it somehow gives a little different texture than oil. But I think butter would be fine. And here we have a bowl of white lily flour.
Right.
And this happens to be all-purpose.
Why all-purpose and not bread flour?
Well, all-purpose flour is lower protein.
Okay.
And so it doesn't you don't develop a lot of gluten that turns to that real chewy texture.
So this will be more soft and light.
This will be soft and light,
okay.
exactly.
So you just want it to form a ball and be soft, but not too sticky.
See how this is all coming together?
I do.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Feel that.
Okay, so it does feel pretty stiff. And in some places it's sticky, and in others it's dry because the flour's not completely worked in yet.
That's right. And we'll stir that a little bit more. And then we're going to make something delicious out of it.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
We've got all the flour stirred in now.
Yeah.
And look at this. Isn't that nice?
It's a beautiful dough.
It is. And we're going to take this dough at this point and put it into a greased bowl and just you can spray it with some cooking spray.
And why do you spray it with cooking spray? What's the reason for that?
Well, you don't want it to dry out. And so now we're to the part where we want this to rise.
Yes.
And so we put some oil on it to keep it from having a hard skin on the top.
Okay.
And I usually put a little piece of plastic wrap over it too.
Okay. Just to keep it all sealed in.
Yes.
And let it rise, and you put it in a warm place, right?
Put it in a warm place to rise, and we'll have to put this aside and let it rise.
Okay, great.
Can you believe this?
It got so much bigger. Just like you said it would.
Isn't it amazing?
It is. It was less than half the size of this.
And there is a trick to knowing when the dough is risen as much as it needs to be.
Okay.
You just put a couple of fingers in there, and if an indentation stays, then you know it's time to punch it down. We want to get all that air out.
Okay.
And the reason they call it punching down is because you just take your fist and punch it right in the middle. So you do it.
Wow, look at it go.
Isn't that amazing?
It
just feels really good.
Yeah, so a lot of the air came out.
That's right. So it's ready to roll out.
Okay.
And do something with.
And now what are we going to make with this dough?
We're going to make a Swedish tea ring, which is, you do exactly like a cinnamon roll, except for at the end.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll roll this out, and then we will be ready to make the tea ring.
Okay, great.
We've rolled out the dough.
We rolled out the dough. It's a nice big rectangle, and there's melted butter brushed over the whole surface, right?
Right. And we've got a cinnamon sugar mixture. Now, one of the things when you're going to make a roll is it's good to leave one of these edges without a lot of butter on it because we need to kind of glue it together.
I see. So you have a sticky edge here so that once it's rolled, it kind of holds its shape a little better.
Right. And we're going to roll this up just like we do, but instead of cutting it into individual rolls, we're going to make this into a tea ring.
Okay.
So let's we got a pan, we got it sprayed. We're going to take this now, and it's better to move it over to the pan rather than trying to make it here and then move it after you get it cut. We just pinch this together.
And I see you're not being delicate with it at all. You're just showing it who's boss. And it's going right along with you.
And that's the beauty of this. That's why I just hate for people to feel so intimidated by baking, because it's just not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's so fun. And then it's the same process that you do to make a cinnamon roll, except just cutting up to the center.
I see. You're leaving it connected right there in the center point.
That's right. And then you just take each one of these and just turn it out and overlap it. So we just keep on going all the way around.
Okay.
And then bake it. I think a little confectioner's sugar glaze always looks pretty on this kind of thing.
It would be so pretty. Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing this with me. I can't wait to get into my home kitchen and start experimenting with your basic sweet roll dough. So guys, stay tuned, keep a lookout. There's going to be a lot more recipes using Linda's basic sweet roll dough recipe. And if you're subscribing, then they'll end up in your inbox. If you're not subscribing, make sure you click my little subscribe icon and you'll get a free gift when you do. Or you can just follow along on my social media at Baking a Moment on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you. So
it was a pleasure.
You too.
Thanks so much.